Assalamu alaikum students, this is Kisra Akib in your online class of English literature. I do hope that all of you must be fit and healthy. Today we will discuss the fourth poem, The Addressing of Cats by T.S. Eliot. This is a simple and humorous poem about cats. The poet has presented a comparison of the cats and the dogs in this poem. The poet has described the cats and dogs in a very powerful and convincing way. Let's start reading and enjoying the poem. I do hope that you would enjoy the reading of this poem. You have read of several kinds of cats, and my opinion now is that the poet says that the readers must be familiar of different types of the cats, and the poet is of the opinion that you should need no interpreter to understand their character, that no mediator or interpreter is required for understanding the character of a cat. You now have learned enough to see that cats are much like you and me. We have sufficient knowledge to understand that the cats are very much like human beings and other people whom we find. They are like ourselves, and they are like the other people we know, possessed of various types of mind. They are of different types of mentalities, but some are sane and some are mad, and some are good and some are bad, and some are better, some are worse, but all may be described in words. There are different types of the cat. Some are wise and some are weird, aggressive and mad. Some are good and some are bad. Similarly, there are both the better and the worst types of the cats. But all of the types of cats may be described in the form of words. You have seen them both at work and games and learned about their proper names. You may have seen the cats working and playing games, and you may be aware of their proper names, their habitats and their habits and their habitat. You may also be aware of their habits and their places of living. But how would you address a cat? But the question is how to address a cat, how to talk to a cat. So first your memory I will jog. So at first the poet likes to give a nudge to the memory of the reader and say a cat is not a dog by saying that a cat is quite different from a dog. Now dogs pretend they like to fight. They often bark, more seldom bite. The dogs pretend that they love fighting, but very often they only bark and they bite very seldom. But yet a dog is, on the whole, what you would call a simple soul. The dogs are not intricate characters, they are on the whole simple souls. Of course, some not including pigs and such fantastic canine freaks. Uh, he says that when he calls the dogs simple souls or the innocent creatures, he doesn't include the Chinese breed of the dogs called pigs, who are strange and weird in their behavior. The usual dog about the town is much inclined to play the clown. Uh, the ordinary street dogs are always ready to play like a clown, and far from showing too much pride, is frequently undignified. They usually do not show pride and they are usually not given the due respect. He is very easily taken in. Just chuck him underneath the chin. It is really very easy to cheat a dog just by chucking him beneath his chin or slap his back or shake his paw, and he will gambol and guffaw. If you give a little attention to the dog by chucking him beneath his dog or by uh, patting him on his back or shaking his paw, uh, you would be able to make a dog happy, and he will start playing and jumping and laughing. He is such an easygoing loud. He will never answer any hail or he will answer any hail or shout. A dog is a friendly and easy to handle creature. He will respond to every call. Again, I must remind you that a dog's a dog, a cat's a cat. But again, he reinforces his stance that a dog is different from a cat. A dog is a dog and a cat is a cat. With cats, some say one rule is true: don't speak till you are spoken to. Some people are of the opinion that it is not good to start talking to a cat to take an initiative in addressing the cats. Rather, one must wait for the cats to start the conversation. Myself, I do not hold with that. I say you should address a cat, but the poet possesses a different type of opinion. He says that we should take the initiative in addressing a cat, but always keep in mind that he resents familiarity. But we also remember that a cat doesn't like familiarity. He doesn't become friendly, and he wants to stay aloof. He wants to stay isolated. I bow and taking off my hat, address him in this form, our cat. He says that has to start, if he has to address a cat, first of all, he would bow before a cat, and after taking his hat, he would address the cat in a very obedient way by saying, "Oh, cat." But if he is the cat next door, whom I have often met before, but if the cat is of his neighbors and he has often met the cat before, and then he would address that cat in a different manner. It shows that you cannot address all the cats in one way. There are different techniques for addressing different types of the cats. So when he meets his neighbor's cat, if the neighbor's cat visits his house, I greet him with an oops a cat. He would welcome the cat by saying oops a cat. I think I have heard them call him James. Even if he knows the proper name of the cat, he would restrain from calling the cat with the proper name, because the cat can mind that before. But we have not got so far as names before a cat will condescend to treat you as a trusted friend. You cannot uh, call a cat by his proper name until and unless it entitles you with the privilege of becoming a cat's friend. Some little token of esteem is needed, like a dish of cream. Only esteem and respect is not sufficient. You must offer some token of respect in the form of a bowl of cream, and you might now and then supply some caviar or Strasbourg pie, some potted grouse or salmon paste. And only a dish of cream is not sufficient. You have to offer off and on different type of foods to the cats, like the salted fish or the Strasbourg pie or the grouse bird, or the salmon paste of the salmon fish. He is sure to have his personal taste, and we should also know that a cat has his personal taste as well. I know a cat who makes habit of eating nothing else but rabbit. The poet knows a cat who doesn't eat anything else, the rabbit, and when he is finished, licks his paws so as not to waste the onion sauce. And after finishing the rabbit, he was in the habit of licking his paws because he doesn't want to waste the onion sauce. A cat's entitled to expect these evidences of respect. A cat deserves to be respected in this way, and so in time you reach your aim and finally call him by his name, because uh, after some time you may become able to address a cat with his proper name. So this is this and that is that. So a cat is cat and a dog is dog, and there is how you address a cat. And that was all about addressing a cat. This so girls, this was the paraphrasing and explanation of the poem. So far as the themes of the poems are concerned, the poem is humorous and funny, and it describes the behavior of the cats by giving a comparison of the cats and the dogs. It also expresses the poet's study and knowledge of the cats and his love for the cats as well. Uh, the language of the poem is quite simple but musical. The rhyming stanzas, the two-line rhyming stanzas forming the rhyme scheme of AB, AB, has a very beautiful impact on the reader. Okay, girls, this was all about the poem. You have to prepare the critical appreciation of this poem, short questions and answers, and MCQs. You may consult the book I have suggested in the classroom for doing all these activities. Okay, girls, I do hope that you would enjoy this lecture. It is over from my side. Take care. Allah Hafiz.